Hi, I'm Luis Martinez Moure of Moure Insurance. Nobody likes dealing with insurance, but we try to take that weight off our clients. We find the right coverages, we find the right policies, we look at all the details, we make sure that everything's being covered, we try to get the best price, but the most important thing is the quality and the complete coverage in the insurance policies so that the day you have a loss, you don't have a big surprise. There are a lot of little issues that come up all the time, and there's a lot of misunderstanding about insurance. So we put together a series of little clips on topics that come up frequently that might be of use to you and your clients. Did you know that your jewelry, artwork, antiques, collectibles that you have in your house are not covered by your standard homeowner's insurance policy? The policy will usually only pay up to $2,500 for items like these. You can get a simple homeowner's personal articles policy or art policy, which can cover all of these items 24 hours a day, even worn on a trip outside of the home, and it'll cover fire, flood, hurricane risk for anything that you have, as long as it's appraised with a specific value. And you can get this coverage easily as an attachment to your homeowner's insurance policy, but you have to ask for it specifically. Always a problem here in South Florida. There are many ways that water can damage your property. In a hurricane, it can come through the windows if there's damage to the building. There can be a flood out in the street or somewhere near, which backs up the drainage system and floods your property. The flood can also happen right on your property or outside, just like we're seeing here, where there's a water leak from the public water supply that's going to be fixed. But this can actually intrude into your property, and if the drainage is not working on your property because this is backed up outside, then your property can flood even if your house is on dry land. These are just some examples, and everybody needs to have flood insurance in Florida. It's cheap, it's subsidized in the federal program, it's available to everyone, and we can help you with that. And here in Florida we have lots of beautiful trees, but not all are the right trees to plant in the right places. The county has tried to regulate that, so of the cities, oak trees like this are very strong and lasted hundreds of years, but the insurance companies sometimes ask you to trim them away from the house because they think that trees in general are a risk in a hurricane and may fall on the roof. This house has to be trimmed back slightly just so the branches don't touch the roof. That's what the insurance companies require. Don't let landscaping companies trim the trees improperly, because that can actually weaken the tree. If it's cut improperly, the fungus gets into the branches and the branches can collapse and actually cause big damage in a regular storm or in a hurricane. Just like this tree has been properly trimmed over the years, the nut there, the eye has closed up, sealed with the bark of the natural tree, and that's not a danger to the tree. It's nice and healthy. A tenant or a landlord in South Florida, you have to watch out for all the liability issues involved in operating an office or owning a rental property. There can be frivolous lawsuits on your property in the parking lot, security issues. You can have water leaks if the building is held in a condominium format and you just own one of the units and you have a tenant. It gets even more complicated. The condominium association is insuring the structure, the exterior of the building and the common elements. You as the unit owner are insuring your alterations of the interior, and then the tenant is insuring his own equipment and contents. If there's a leak that affects any of those properties, all three are going to be involved. It's going to be a complicated claim. Each policy has to be issued correctly. Lots of beautiful condominium buildings here in Miami. But living in one of these, you have to be careful with your insurance. The law in Florida for condominium associations requires the association to have a master policy to cover the common elements of the building. That's the exterior, the stairways, the structure. But your interior alterations within the concrete box, everything that's your property, the flooring, the lighting, the kitchen cabinets, the closets, everything that you add, that's your property. If any of that is damaged, plus ripping out drywall in your unit, if any of that's damaged in an event, even if a leak comes from somewhere upstairs, you have to pay for that with your own insurance policy. If you don't have coverage, the condominium association policy is not going to pay for that. Property owners need to be very careful with their liability coverage and property coverage on rented apartments, because if you don't have the right coverage, you can be exposed to liability. Short-term rental has to be declared and covered specifically. Not all companies want to cover that, either on the property or the liability side. Also, if an apartment stays vacant for more than 60 days and nobody's managing it, it can be considered an abandoned property. So all of this has to be carefully managed by a professional insurance agent. The most important factor in the price for homeowners insurance in Florida is not what most people think. A lot of people are investing in impact windows, and that's very good to protect your home and it can give you a discount. But the most important factor is the age of the roof. The roof has to be in good condition, and if it hasn't been changed within a certain number of years, you're not going to qualify for the best insurance policies. If it's a flat roof, it should be less than 10 years old. If it's a shingle roof, it should be less than 20 years old, and if it's a tile roof, it should be less than 30 years old. The best sort of roof you can get for insurance purposes is a standing seam metal roof, which is screwed straight onto the roof structure. That lasts a long time, and that's going to give you the best discount.